Well, the big story we are tracking at this stage, just in the last couple of minutes, the Indian Army has forwarded journalists photographs of Pakistani Border Action Team personnel. These are soldiers who are either regulars, or some of them are regulars and some of them are terrorists who cross the line of control and try and ambush Indian soldiers with the intention of maiming or mutilating them. I'm just going to go across to the clearest of the pictures. I don't know how clearly you can see that on the camera. We don't have that up as a graphic because it's come to me literally in the last 3 minutes or so. Now they've circled this. It's one of the pictures. Here is another one, and this is the fourth one, and the first one which I have is actually not particularly clear, but this is new detail which has now emerged, detail which explains just how serious the situation on the line of control presently is. Now I should point out that this encounter took place approximately 36 hours or so ago in the Keran sector. This bat attempt was foiled by the Indian Army. Now this is fresh detail coming in over and above what the Army has said yesterday, where they've explained the dangers in improvised explosive devices, anti-personnel mines, sniper rifles to the Amarnath Yatra. As a result of these threats, the government yesterday, the Jammu and Kashmir government, on the basis of a notification, asked tourists and asked Amarnath Yatris to leave Jammu and Kashmir. I was there at Srinagar airport early this morning, where there was a fair amount of confusion. I should add, it wasn't panic, but there was a fair amount of confusion as a lot of these Yatris and tourists tried to leave. The Indian Air Force now also assisting them in the process of leaving from the valley.
आज सुबह की हमारी अमरनाथ यात्रा की हेलीकॉप्टर की टिकट थी, बट शाम को 4-5 बजे जो ये पैनिक अटैक आया न्यूज़ में और मीडिया में, तो घर वालों को इतना ज़्यादा टेंशन हो गया कि बस आप कैसे भी करके वहाँ से निकल के आओ।
हमने 8:30 बजे टीवी देखना शुरू कर दिया, न्यूज़ देखना, तो हमने तो न्यूज़ सुनी, तो हमें ऐसा लगा कि यहाँ कुछ गड़बड़ है जी, तो इसलिए हमने यहाँ वापस जाने का निर्णय लिया। तो हम यहाँ 2 दिन रुकने वाले थे।
Confusion at Srinagar airport this morning. Frightened at the prospect of violence and responding to the government notice last night, tourists were here early, many looking for a one-way ticket back home. Many were prepared to wait for hours in the hope that they landed a ticket. If there's any word that describes the situation in Kashmir today, it's confusion. Local politicians want to know whether there's going to be anything profound which is going to happen in the state. Tourists want to know why on earth are we being asked to leave. Local people want to know why is this all taking place in the first place, and the security establishment remains mum.
हमारा जो कार का ड्राइवर था वो तो यहाँ तक बोला कि सर ऐसा कहीं पर कुछ नहीं है, और बाय द वे अगर ऐसी कोई परिस्थिति आती है तो पहली गोली मेरे सीने पे लगेगी, मैं आपको मेरे घर पे रुकाऊंगा।
In Jammu, at the base camp of the Amarnath Yatra, there were loud announcements today telling pilgrims to leave, but that's clearly easier said than done.
गाड़ी लाए 50 आदमी हैं, वापस घर जा रहे हैं। नहीं जाना चाहते हैं पर जा रहे हैं। टीवी में देखा है यात्रा बंद हो गई, और हमको बहुत दुख है, यात्रा बंद नहीं होनी चाहिए। ठीक है, यात्रा खुल जाती है तो हम अब भी जा सकते हैं।
The only clarification has come from the governor, but political leaders like the National Conference's Omar Abdullah say that's not enough.
The governor is not the final word on Jammu and Kashmir. The final word on Jammu and Kashmir is the government of India. We don't want silence from government of India. We want to hear from government of India in parliament, and we hope that government of India will recognize that it is not in their interest to have a restive Jammu and Kashmir.
Congress leaders say the security establishment has ceded unprecedented space to Pakistan. According to Manish Tiwari, neither in October 47 nor 1990 did the Indian state surrender to Pakistan like today. The government should have provided security to pilgrims and tourists rather than asking them to cut and run.
कोई भी गवर्नमेंट हो, कोई भी गवर्नर हो, किसी ने ये एडवाइजरी और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से ये एडवाइजरी कभी नहीं गई कि टूरिस्ट वापस आए।
In Srinagar, despite a message from the Deputy Commissioner, some educational institutes such as the NIT and the Government Polytechnic College have decided to shut down. The students, many from outside the state, are on their way home.
ठीक है, अगर ये कुछ करने वाले नहीं है तो यहाँ के से टूरिस्ट और यात्रियों को क्यों वापस भगाया गया? यहाँ NIT के स्टूडेंट्स को क्यों कहा जा रहा है कि आप अपने घरों में वापस जाइए?
For now, what's clear is this: people across the state have questions to which they have no answers. With Nazir Masoodi in Srinagar and Mohammad Ghazali in Jammu, Vishnu Shom for NDTV. All right, so that gives you an idea of the confusion in Jammu and Kashmir today. Joining me now, my colleagues Nazir Masoodi and Sanket Upadhyay. Let me go across to you first, Nazir. What about students in the state? Because yesterday there was a message from the state government saying that institutions shouldn't be shut down, and yet a couple of them were. So why is there this confusion on the ground?
Well, if you see the words of the state administration don't match their, actions. DC Srinagar talked about, no such order has been issued, but all the students at the NIT Srinagar were evacuated, and by this evening, paramilitary forces have taken over NIT Srinagar. They have gone there because the fresh forces who have been inducted in the valley need a place where they can stay. And many education institutions have been taken over by the security forces. The fresh induction, more than 35,000 troops who have come, have gone there. I'm here at Dal Lake, and the place which is otherwise bustling with tourist activities, is completely deserted. Here, the houseboats are empty, hotels are empty, and hardly you can see any tourists here. In fact, today, the tourism department officials visited hotels and physically checked if there's any tourists, and asked the hotel owners if there is anybody, they should be asked to leave Kashmir immediately as part of the government decision. In fact, after this security advisory by the State Home Department, now we are hearing that the Britain and also Germany have issued travel advisory to its citizens who were intending to visit Kashmir. As you were rightly mentioning, there's a lot of confusion in Kashmir. Nobody knows what is happening and what will happen tomorrow. Even governor says today it is fine, but he doesn't know about tomorrow. And it is just the confusion and fear has gripped the valley. That's all we have here.
All right, fair enough, Nazir. I just want to go across to Sanket Upadhyay. Sanket, the Home Minister Amit Shah is going to be travelling to Jammu and Kashmir as well in the next couple of days, I believe after the Parliament session ends. What exactly is the message going to be? Is this in a sense a response to several Kashmiri leaders who believe that what we are seeing now with the tourists being asked to leave, with tens of thousands of CRPF Jawans being moved in, that there could be some sort of change in the status of Jammu and Kashmir? Is this an effort to reach out from the centre to all of these leaders in Kashmir?
Well, politically speaking, Vishnu, obviously the inference that will be drawn with this particular information that he's going to visit Jammu and Kashmir will be exactly this. However, from what we have learned from our official sources is that this is a routine visit, his second to the valley. But apart from that, we have to look at things in a context. The fact that there was a circular that spoke about the tourists as well as Amarnath Yatris deserting or leaving and moving away. The fact that there is a troop movement taking place, and also rumors that are going around that there will be a trifurcation of the state. Of course, the Home Ministry as well as the governor have come out and said that none of this is true and one must not believe in rumors at this point in time. But this visit, the itinerary for which is still being prepared, and from what we have learnt, as you rightly also mentioned, that it is going to take place post the Parliament session, which is post the 7th of August, is pretty routine. We are hearing that the itinerary will be worked out, but in this, given the perspective in which this trip has been announced, it is very clear that an attempt perhaps could be made to soothe some frayed nerves.
And Sanket, one more quick question. A whip has been issued to BJP MPs to ensure that they are in Parliament from Monday onwards. Again, why do we have any idea what the issues are? Of course, this has been a very productive session of Parliament. Lots of bills have gone through. But is this whip, which has been issued, in any way associated with Jammu and Kashmir?
Well, the honest answer is no, from what we have heard from our sources in the BJP. We asked, it's but natural for people to link these two facts. The fact that a whip has been issued for the 5th and the 5th till the 7th of August, and the fact that we see this volatility in Kashmir. But sources within the BJP that I managed to speak to are saying that there is absolutely no correlation between the two. It's purely legislative business in Parliament for which this whip has been issued.
All right, thanks Sanket and Nazir, thanks very much. I'm going to go across to General Satish Dua, who joins us now, as also Deshrata Nigam. Thank you, gentlemen, both very much for being with us. General Dua, we were just speaking to each other, communicating on the phone just a little while back. You have served in the Keran sector, where there has been this effort to infiltrate into our territory by Pakistani border action teams. It took place a few days back. There wasn't very clear mention of this in the press conference by security commanders yesterday. But what exactly do you believe the goal of these renewed infiltration attempts are, particularly border action teams in Keran?
Perhaps why we didn't hear about this in the press conference in Kashmir is because this sector is in Poonch district, while it is on the Pir Panjal, on the lower heights of Pir Panjal, but it is technically in 16 Corps. So the Kashmir machinery will not perhaps factor it into their briefings. However, as far as the adversary is concerned and the situation is concerned, now we are seeing that there were two major attempts on the LOC as it is called in the civil. So on the LOC in Kashmir, in Machal and Gurez respectively. Now there is this which has come to light, the Keran bad action. So there is clearly a heightened activity on the LC. We've also been seeing in different channels as to where there has been RT duels and ceasefire violations all along the LC. So LC is active, rather has heated up. There are intel inputs. Then there is this recovery that we've had. There are threats of IEDs. All this put together and much more, because I am of the firm opinion, and we were speaking earlier, even yesterday I said that government, or especially the INT or the security forces, will not put in public domain everything that they know for operational reasons. So the fact of the matter is there is obviously something that is brewing up which security forces know, and they are taking this precaution. The precaution is asking the Yatris to leave. I understand that this is a very unprecedented strong step, and like I said yesterday, when Burhan Wani happened, it happened overnight. We were not prepared what is going to happen next day. But this is where there are a lot of inputs, and at the expense of repeating what I said last evening, at the expense of repeating the last sentence last evening, I said, well, if after all this, if we did not take action, then everybody, including press, would pounce on the security forces that you knew all this and then you did not take any action.
Okay, fair enough. Deshrata Nigam, the counter argument to what General Dua is saying is that the Yatra has always existed at times when there has been a terrorist threat. The line of control has been active off and on for several years now. Mortar shelling certainly has taken place as well on a fairly regular basis. How would you respond to those who say that we are ceding space to Pakistan by telling Yatris and tourists to leave Jammu and Kashmir, when in fact we have faced this threat in the past, and it's for us as a country to ensure the safety and security of tourists and Yatris?
I think the step that has been taken is only for safety and security of the Yatris and tourists. And I am sure, and I trust my the army and the intelligence reports that are coming, it must be very serious, given the fact that the 5 soldiers, Pakistani soldiers, were killed at the border, given the fact that the mines and other arms and cache were recovered, given the fact that all the information may not be there in public domain and should not be there for the purpose of compromising, not compromising the operations on the ground, and therefore, see, it's not about ceding it to Pakistan. This is about the safety. Let us make the distinction very clear. Pakistan, we have given appropriate reply at the border. There are 5 infiltrators. The soldiers have been killed, as you rightly pointed out, and you showed the photographs. But if anything happened to the tourist or for that matter the Yatris, I think everybody would have pounced on the government. At this point of time, whatever the information that we have in public domain, I think this was the appropriate response, and probably there are more serious information that the intelligence setup has, and it is better to be cautious than to be, repenting at the later stage.
All right. General Dua, do you believe that at this juncture, based on the nature of the threats which have been reported, this bat action, anti-personnel mines, sniper rifles, another IED which has been located all within the last couple of days, it's important to link the threat posed by Pakistan directly to the Amarnath Yatris, that there is a link, that they are trying to do all of these things, also trying to attack the Amarnath Yatris, and it's not enough to say that the Yatra should go on irrespective of these threats.
My take, Vishnu, is that that Amarnath Yatra is far too important, or should I say very sensitive issue. Even when Burhan Wani's elimination took place, Amarnath Yatra was on, and we did not stop the Amarnath Yatra. We trusted the Kashmiriyat, and it played well, because there were incidents, despite all the other, valley was burning, but despite other incidents, there were very heartening incidents of everyone helping the Yatris. But we saw an attack year before last on Yatris. No, but while we trusted Kashmir there, and this time perhaps a call has been taken that we cannot trust our adversary with the 3 JEM, one input that's doing the rounds and it's in the media, 3 JEM terrorists have gotten in for some sensational attacks. Now imagine if there is a major attack on the Yatris. It will start a communal riot. I mean, it has the potential to start a communal riot.
Yes.
The Hindus will be up in arms, and so on and so forth. So that is the reason. It's a very sensitive issue. Just imagine what will happen, God forbid, if there is a sensational sort of attack and many casualties on the Yatris.
I take the point, General, that I think both you and Deshat Nigam are talking about, that we do need to look at the decisions which have taken place from a security prism, because of hard evidence which has been uncovered. That's certainly one way of looking at it. I'd like to thank both of you very much for joining us with your views over there. I'm also joined at this stage by the chairman of the Jammu and Kashmir People's Conference, Sajjad Lone. Sajjad, thanks very much for speaking to us. There have been a lot of clarifications yesterday to Mehbooba Mufti, today to Omar Abdullah from the governor, who has said that, look, there has been no decision that he is aware of on 35A, on changing anything about the status of Jammu and Kashmir. Therefore, is it time for Kashmiri leaders to look at this also from a security prism, that look, these are the threats, it's been outlined, this has nothing to do with the status of Jammu and Kashmir, at least not yet?
Vishnu, I do partly agree in the sense that whatever is there of the security concerns, obviously none of us is a security specialist, so we can't possibly make any comment on that, and that is something which is paramount. What we are worried about out here in Kashmir is the uncertainty, the spate of rumors, a lot of chaos, confusion, which has actually put people in psychological distress, which is changing to the basic constitutional structure, the special provisions that we have. That, I think, is what the political class in Kashmir especially is worried about. Barring that, the other security dimension, we are as understanding, we can understand, and we do believe that that is something which the experts will take care of. For us, the only problem is the special provisions, tinkering with the special provisions, making some constitutional changes, which we believe would not be in the fitness of things and would create more problems than it would resolve.
So would you also therefore be more reassured if there was a statement from the Prime Minister or a statement in Parliament from the government where they say that, look, whatever is happening is from a security standpoint, nothing profound is happening about Jammu and Kashmir as yet? Is that what you seek, or is the explanation of the governor now on 2 occasions on 2 days still not good enough for you?
The governor tried his best to allay our fears, allay our apprehensions, but then at the end of the day, you know, he is the governor of J&K state, and the action is taking place in Delhi. So it might be better if there is some clarification at whatever level as to what they intend to do. That I think would help people a lot. As I told you that, you know, we have been through a lot of turmoil in the last 3 decades, and we have seen hard measures, soft measures. This is not the first time we are seeing a lot of troop movement or a lot of boots on the ground. But and then of course, I was watching your program. It seems there are some security. There's a security scenario also about which we had little information till date. That
Yes.
there is something along the border.
Yes, that's just coming in
I
now.
just
Yeah,
saw
in the
on
last
your
half
program.
an hour.
That leaving that, that leaving that apart. Our thing is about the constitution, the constitutional special provisions of constitution for J&K state. And we worried about that. That is our main cause of concern.
Okay. And therefore, you know, my final question to you, now that the Home Minister Amit Shah has said that he is going to be coming over here just after the session of Parliament ends, do you also welcome that as a move in which possibly there would be some sort of engagement with Kashmiri leaders such as yourself, whether it's a reassurance or an explanation that there would be some indicator of where the centre is going? Isn't that what you basically seek now? Information?
No, just information. I mean, say the Honorable Home Minister will come to the state. Of course, his plate will be full. He will have to deal with a lot of problems. Whether he meets us, he does not meet us, it's not something which is of paramount importance. What is important is some sort of clarification to assure people, assure us, so that people also move on with their lives, given whatever the security scenario seems to be on the border and other things. Despite that, the Home Minister of course comes with his own set of program. Whosoever he wants to meet, doesn't want to meet. I don't think we should keep that as a binding, though he should meet us. No, there is no need. In many other occasions, he can meet in Delhi, he can meet in Kashmir. He's at the end of the day the Home Minister of the entire country, and you know, he can. Those meetings can wait. But what is important is some sort of clarification, and that you know, this ambiguity needs to go. It's very painful.
All right. I would tend to agree with you, Sajjad, that the ambiguity needs to go. But I think what we are looking at now, and you know, it's a little different from the way we were looking at this entire scenario yesterday, when, given the boots on the ground, 28,000 odd CRPF Jawans, over and above the 10,000 who'd come in earlier on, all being deployed in a finite period of time, the Yatra being called off, tourists going away, universities being shut down, at least a handful of them, that perhaps there was a bigger political message or motive which could have been there. But at this juncture, given what we are seeing with the security scenario, given what the governor is saying as well, it seems to be a diametrically different way of looking at things. But without doubt, clarification, explanations, and perhaps understanding on both sides is what is needed at this hour. I'd like to thank all my panelists very much for joining us. I'm going to take a short break. More coming up.